Hello, I'm Emma Paton and welcome to Love the Darts. Are you ready to go again? Because we are. Yeah, the 2026 Premier League begins on Thursday, the 5th of February in Newcastle with 17 nights of action ahead of us. Cannot wait. New faces, a new venue to discuss as well, but a couple of faces here in the studio that you know very well indeed. We've got Michael Bridge back in the studio, all right?
Yeah, good. You?
Very good.
Good.
And we've got a man who does pretty much everything. Motor Super Series CEO. He is a commentator, a presenter. The list goes on, to be honest with you. Chris Murphy, welcome back.
Hello, Happy New Year. Can we still say Happy New Year?
No,
Okay,
no.
Sorry.
Happy
Start again.
Happy 29th of January. What have you been up to? Crying about Barry Bannon. Yeah, I feel you, mate. I feel you.
Go there, yeah.
You've got Sheffield Wednesday in your family.
Oh, they were crying as well. Yeah. Very sad to see him go, especially with the club
where
Thank
you, Barry, for everything.
Yeah, that's the important part.
Fan, isn't he, Barry Bannon as well? Good darts fan.
Yeah.
Aren't they all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've been busy as ever.
Yeah, Super Series back underway. We had a seniors week and a women's week, which was won by Fallon Sherrick, beating Lisa Ashton in the final. So good start to the year.
Yeah.
And now we're into the main series.
It never stops for you, does it?
No, never stops, but I still make time
for us.
To love the darts.
Yes, that's what we like. And you still make time as well, don't you, Bridget?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a busy month. I mean, January transfer window.
All comes to an end on Monday, and you're going to be standing outside Spurs training ground.
Spurs, yeah.
It's a nice training ground to be outside of.
Very nice training ground.
I won't let you in, though.
Well, I've got my own little bit. I can go in for a coffee and fill my jug up. So yeah, no, it's always a busy day. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, are you expecting to be busy?
I am, yeah, because they
need.
I mean, this is a darts pod, but they need to do some business, Tottenham Hotspur. Otherwise, could win the Champions League and be in the Championship. No, I'm joking.
Definitely won't be winning the Champions League. Maybe the Championship.
Yeah.
Right, we are going to. We will discuss the Masters a little bit, but we are recording this on Thursday, so we don't want that to be too dated. So we're going to get stuck into the Premier League, which of course gets underway next week. The top 4 players in the rankings, joined by 4 wildcard, I suppose, selections, making up this 8-player field. Just giving you a bit of a context in case you don't watch the Premier League regularly. And then the top 4 in the table after 16 weeks of action will make it through to finals night at the O2 Arena in May. Luke Humphries is, of course, the reigning champion. That's after he beat Luke Littler, who was pretty dominant, to be honest with you, throughout the actual Premier League campaign, but he beat him in the final. So then, how will Luke Humphries be feeling going into 2026? Lost in a number of major finals in 2025, lost that number 1 ranking spot as well to Luke Littler, but it certainly wasn't a bad year at all, was it? What we're going to do to kind of preview the Premier League, I'm going to go through every player. So we'll start with Luke Humphries because he is the reigning champion. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen at the Masters this weekend. He's defending that title. Does it feel like, not that Humphries has got something to prove, maybe he feels that himself just because of how the year ended, and again the talk has shifted a little bit away from him. If people are talking about 2 players now, it's probably Littler and Van Veen. Is that fair to say? I mean, Michael van Gerwen started the year well as well on the World Series. Yeah,
I mean, just because it wasn't Luke versus Luke, which everyone thought it would be at the World Championship, so I think that maybe I don't know if I don't think he's got anything to prove, but whether or not he feels he's got anything to prove, I think the danger is not necessarily Van Veen at the moment. Certainly, as a new player in the Premier League, I think the bigger danger is, does Littler start to pull away, start to dominate, and become it becomes a one Luke domination of darts rather than the pair of them. So I think it's about bridging that gap, because he was better at the World Championship. He was probably better over the course of the year last year. And Luke Humphries, a lot of people say he's like the only person or one of a few people that can beat him now and again. But can he make it so it is that sort of 50-50 split? I think that's what he's going to be working on. Forget about everybody else. How do I compete consistently with Luke Littler?
Does it feel like that for you? I mean, you know him fairly well, don't you, Luke Humphries? How do you think he'll be sort of, I don't know, just looking at the year ahead?
Yeah, he's got that number 1 off his back now. He can sort of relax a little bit there as Luke Littler's pulled away. It's an interesting season for Luke Humphries. It really is. I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on. He's just the best person. You know, the way, when he lost to Gian van Veen, he's just a gent. But deep down, how tough he would have found it. He was determined to win the World Championship. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he's going to get on over the next few weeks. It's going to be an interesting next few months, that's for sure. But I thought that pressure's off him a little bit with that number 1 tag going.
We'll do predictions and stuff in a bit, as we always do ahead of the Premier League season. But does he automatically make your top four? Is it a simple question for you?
But yeah,
regarding
I
Luke
think that.
Humphries?
I mean, I'll come on to it. I think there are 3 players that are certain to.
Okay.
He's one of them
Right.
for me. Yeah.
Okay. No, interesting. Do you see it like that?
Yeah, I think he'll do more than enough to be in the top 4. Yeah, because ultimately it's down to consistency, and he's one of the most consistent players. So yeah, he'll be in my pick for the top 4. And look, it's on the night, isn't it? Really, the finals night. It is on the night. Luke Littler.
Well, we saw it last year, didn't we?
Yeah, Luke Littler could probably be telling his dad and his and his management team now, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna win every night. That's my aim. I want to win every single night." Because that's
we need new records, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's the way he is. But then he could lose in the semi. That's the way this format is. So bring it on.
Bring it on. So that is Luke Humphries, then, the defending Premier League champion. As for Luke Littler, he's already picked up a title this year, won the first ever Saudi Arabia Darts Masters. He is holder of almost every major title. Obviously, if you're listening to this after the Masters, maybe he's won that. We don't know yet. But the Premier League, of course, he won in his first season, didn't he? It feels like watching him, there's no sign that he's going to drop off. We saw that at the Worlds again, didn't we? That in every round, more often than not, averaging over a ton, and he can turn it on. For me, it feels like it's just the fact that he's got these gears that he can move through.
Yeah, it's interesting the point that Bridgie just made, actually, about potentially wanting to break more records, winning every week. Because if you watch Saudi Arabia Darts Masters, he spent the whole time just trying to hit the 9 darter so he could get a go at the bull.
Don't blame him.
Yeah, exactly. But that made that the point of that tournament. But I think the one thing that could creep in is something that probably happened to Michael van Gerwen after a few years of domination, which was just that lack of focus. And what he's doing by doing that kind of thing is giving himself another focus, because he is walking onto the stage every single match expecting to win. So now he's starting thinking about averages, 9 dart finishes. In the Premier League, it'll be weekly wins, breaking records, like Phil Taylor used to do to keep himself motivated tournament after tournament. So I think that's the only little risk, whether he starts to just become a little bit complacent. But you are right, there has been no sign of that so far.
What do you make of the sort of crowd reaction to him at the Worlds, and do you think that there would be any negative response to him at certain arenas, I suppose? Because I feel like it's this situation where now he's dominating. We know what sports fans over here are like. Some people don't want to see him win anymore now, which is just, it's a fickle thing, isn't it?
People just like knocking people doing well. It's
yeah.
The people were booing him that night.
It's like, do well, but not too well.
Well, yeah, and it's like I said to him after the final in an interview, you do realise those people booing you would ask for a picture if they saw you outside. It's part of pantomime, maybe the wrong word, but it's, we've all, Ali Pali was like our second home, wasn't it? We know what that place is like once you're in there.
What did he say when you said that?
Yeah, he said he knows. They said, "Come on, Bridgie, I know that." But like, but ultimately, when these players say things, always have to remember, we get these dart players seconds after they've won. It's not like football where you get a few minutes, you've got a press officer there, maybe advising you, don't say that, be careful. You get them raw. You get them seconds after. There's so much aggression. There's something on their mind, and they really open up. And obviously, his wording he would have regretted. But then, I think he handled it really well on his victories after that and spoke very well. He speaks so well. He forget he's just turned 19. I know it's boring, but it has to be said. He speaks with such maturity. He's had 1 or 2 blips max, So and what he's done for this sport in such a short space of time. But I don't think anyone expected him to be this dominant. I mean, we all knew. But watch out for this kid. He's gonna do something special. I didn't think he was going to go and win Grand Prix, Grand Slam, that. And when he said something, it was like, for example, last year, he didn't. I'm going to win the Premier League in Manchester next week. I'm going to win it. Does it? and then his targets. He kept talking to me about winning the Masters, winning the European Championship. It's ingrained because and that's where I feel, okay, you are my tip to win it. It might be boring, but if you say you want to do something, you end up doing it.
Yeah. Someone who actually might have foreseen all this was probably you, because you've known him for many years, and from when he was at the Super Series, and I know from speaking to you, you forecast that he's something special and could deliver something special.
Yeah, absolutely. But I can't pretend that I thought he would be this dominant. I'd love to, but I think, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you did say a future world champion at some point.
Yeah, but yeah, the way he's gone about, and going back to Bridges' point about, I think he was rightly criticised for what he said on stage. However, it is a fair point that it's straight after when emotions are high. And once he calmed down, the way he turned it around was brilliant, because he didn't make a big deal out of it. He said, yeah, maybe I got a bit carried away, and that could have hung over. He could have gone onto the stage with a bit of an attitude towards the crowd, which we've seen other players do in the past, but he didn't. He just kind of went with it, saw what happened, saw they were on his side for the next game, and kind of rode with it. It will happen again. It'll happen in Berlin for a start. That's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
Because,
we know he doesn't like playing over in Germany.
Yeah, exactly. And it might happen if he does start to win every week, because people are going to want him to lose just because they want to see somebody else win. But I'm sure he's learned from that. And look, he's done that at... well, he would have still been 18 then, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
19 now. But that happened to Phil Taylor when he was 50. That the semi-final against Barneveld, when he had a bit of a clash, didn't he, after that? And he ended up going on Sky Sports News the next day out, doing a big apology and all that. It kind of reminded me of Mike Bassett, to be honest.
I think actually in that live, Phil offered his retirement.
Yeah, he did.
He said he was so disgusted with himself. But I think it was something like that. He said, I think I should retire.
Yeah, it's the heat of the moment stuff that it will happen to every player that gets to that level, because you can't be perfect all the time. But I think he dealt with it perfectly, and I don't expect it to be a theme of the Premier League.
Every person has got their own interview style. And, sometimes you have to work with the player you've got. I had someone on X saying to me, you didn't ask him this, you didn't ask him that. Like, but,
well, what do they want you to ask?
I can't. It was a Ricky. I think it might have been Ricky Evans. We are aware he's had a really difficult year, right? It's you get and when Rick what road is Ricky going down?
You've got to gauge.
You've got to gauge how they're feeling sometimes.
That's your job. Yeah.
But I think the thing with the Luke comment, I think I think it was the financial mentioning anything with finances.
Yeah.
Sort of irks people. But going back to it, he recovered in such a great way. And
also, you get 90 seconds. It's not 90 minutes, is it? You're with the player for. So you've got maybe 2 or 3 questions at most. You can't ask everything that everybody wants to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like Chris, you make a good point about just how he recovered and responds, because he's such an entertainer, isn't he? So whatever he will roll with whatever on the walk on, putting like cupping his ear or shushing, or because he's one of our real sort of
but
characters.
You tweeted about a heel turn, like the rest.
I said it on air.
Brilliant.
I don't know if that went down well, but oh well.
Well, yeah, but it's great, wasn't it? Someone like that. Someone we used to work in WWE back in the day, eh?
Went down well with 50% of people, and not the other 50%. That's just how it is, isn't it?
But Luke Littler will love that at Liverpool when he plays in the Premier League.
Did all that, didn't he, last year?
Leeds
2-1 and all that.
Yeah, Leeds.
That type of thing.
Leeds, he loves that.
Yeah.
So obviously on night one, we're very much looking forward to a repeat of the world final between Littler and Van Veen. We will move on though to talk about mighty Michael van Gerwen before we get to Van Veen, because look, he's had a really good start to the year in the fact that he made one final out in the World Series, won the other event as well. So it kind of feels like he's started in a perfect manner in some ways, more so for confidence. And it looks like he's in a good place as well. He's been talking about, his health and now he's feeling good in himself.
Obviously, 2025 was the worst year that he's had personally and emotionally, and I think he kind of just wrote off that year, to be honest, in the back of his mind, for everything that was going on behind the scenes. Whether 2026 is the start that he had by playing well and winning in Bahrain, whether that's a sign of things to come, I just think we can't say with any confidence that it is. I just don't know
what to expect.
Yeah, I don't want it to be another false dawn, really, when it comes to MVG. I really don't know what to expect from him in the Premier League. And also the types of issues that he's going through don't stop because, it's not New Year's Day.
It's not a time thing, is it? Yeah, exactly.
There's stuff that he's going to have to sort out behind the scenes, and the Premier League is a weekly competition that's going to take him away from sorting things out. So I think it's going to be a difficult campaign for Van Gerwen. I think we'll see some good performances. I think we'll probably see him win nights, which he didn't do last year, if I remember rightly. I don't think he did. But I'm not sure that it's going to be a consistent campaign. And I think that's all we can expect, actually, from Van Gerwen at the moment, consistently inconsistent.
Well, didn't win a night, didn't make the playoffs, did he? What are you expecting then?
I'm going along with Murph, really.
Again, we don't know what to expect in that.
I just don't know anymore with Michael. I love seeing him win because it still means everything to him.
Yeah. Maybe more now.
Yeah. Will he ever win a Worlds? Probably not. You never know. But it's because it's such a tough, long format. But has he got another major in him? Yes. Yeah, I think you'll see good weeks and bad weeks. But you can say that from a number of players. You can say it for a number of players.
So good weeks and bad weeks. Does he make the top 4? I'm guessing no. That's the energy I'm getting from you guys.
I've got him 5th. Yeah, I've got him 5th. I think he might flirt with the playoffs on occasion.
Such a flirt, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. But I think he'll just miss out.
I think what he loves is when he knows he has a responsibility. That's why he always, everyone loves seeing him at Ali Pali, the green lights. But he will have that responsibility when he goes to the Netherlands for the Premier League. That's when he'll turn it on. He always seems, he enjoys Germany, I think, as well. So he'll win nights. Whether it's enough for a top 4, I don't know. I really like Gian van Veen this year. I think he's going to really go for it. I think he could have a good campaign.
This is going to be another podcast every year ahead of the Premier League when we're previewing it, sitting on the fence. Who makes your top 4?
Yeah, but they get annoyed. They all watch, don't they? They all get annoyed, don't they?
Well,
I've got a bone to pick with you.
Well, you've just got to deal with that.
No, I know. You've got to be stronger.
Embrace it.
Yeah,
that's
but they don't shout at you.
Well, I try not to put opinions out there.
What do you think? Do you think you get to the top?
Exactly.
They all love you. They all love you.
I don't know yet. All right. You've brought us on nicely to Gian van Veen, who is obviously one of our debutants this year. Look, he's kind of the name on everybody's lips, apart from Luke Littler, it feels like at the moment, just because of certainly what he did in 2025, but definitely how he ended that year. Is he one of the ones for you then that is a cert in the top 4?
No, I think he'll be surprised, but I think he will make the top 4. But I've got him 4th.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, right. So I think he's likely to make the top 4 if he can carry on riding this sort of wave of top form.
It feels like he's taking everything in his stride so far.
It does. I don't think we've seen it sustained for a long enough period of time yet to know whether it's permanent, whether that is a level that he will continue to produce week after week, month after month, year after year. I do think that the little subplot of Dutch number 1 will be interesting. That's another motivation for Michael van Gerwen, actually, isn't it? To sort of show, look, I'm still the main man.
Guy, yeah.
But again, a little bit like Luke Humphries, Van Veen's that respectful, sort of humble type player and I think it kind of really helps because you're not sort of putting too much pressure on yourself. Your opponents can't really dislike you too much and really want to rip your head off. And I think that'll serve him well. I think the thing that will get him into the playoffs is that he will be that bit more consistent than the likes of Van Gerwen.
Okay, yeah. You make a good point. I mean, he's a very likeable guy, isn't he?
Oh, he's a lovely bloke.
How do you think he'll take to the Premier League then? It's just new, isn't it?
I think he'll be absolutely fine. I mean, with the weight of the prize money of the Worlds, he's is he the world number 3? I mean, that's a debate in itself, isn't it? I mean,
are you saying he's not?
Don't know actually.
Difficult one.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can argue that, can you?
No, I suppose not at the moment. Actually. Disagreeing with myself then,
he won a major, didn't he? He won a major at the European Championship.
Yes.
So it's not just the Worlds that's got him.
No.
And then it's more about that World Championship campaign, beating Luke Humphries, then beating a incredible Gary Anderson, and then I know he would have liked the finals to be closer, but he played to a decent standard.
Quite remarkable, because watching him in the World Youth Final a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why it's. But yeah, I think he's going to really embrace the Premier League. I think he'll love it. I don't think he'll find it that daunting. I genuinely think he'll enjoy it. He's very, very consistent, and he does make my top 4 on his debut year.
He's made it. Oh, yeah, I can reveal.
Reveal.
Thank you for doing that. Appreciate it. We're not going to go through all the sort of fixtures for night 1, but you're looking forward to seeing him sort of duke it out with Littler again.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for him to show whether or not he can live with Littler. I think Littler needs to be beaten in the quarters to be beaten, really. I think last year, once he won his first match, that was it. He was away most of the time. So I think that it's a good time to catch him in this format. Is if you've got him first match, I think if I was any of those players, I'd rather play him in the quarterfinal than any other stage.
Good way to look at it.
Beating him. So yeah, I think it's a good first fixture. Actually, that's mad to say that, isn't it?
Yep. I'm going to actually stick with the theme of debutants and go to Josh Rock next. It feels like when he was announced as being part of this Premier League lineup, this is the right time to get Josh Rock involved.
Yeah, this was the right time. Everything about him feels Premier League to me, especially after the World Match Play. I remember speaking to.
Oh, that semi-final, unbelievable.
Yeah, so it does feel like it's the right time. Sometimes when the players think it's the right time and they miss out, it does them some good. But I am really intrigued to see. But the only thing I'd say is, Justin Hood was a great story, but really disappointing the way he went out in the World Championship. I had him to go really far, but
that was one of those. It was one of those matches, wasn't it, where you're going? Well, he was 100% on doubles at one point.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Very true. I think Rocker will have another very good year, and I think he'll have a decent Premier League as well. I really do. I really do. I think he's embraced for it. I think he's ready for it, and I look forward to seeing him on there.
How do you think he'll?
I think he maybe wanted the Premier League a little too much. He was talking about the Premier League going into the World Championships, which a lot of the sort of experienced pundits say is a big no-no. Just focus on the Worlds. I think that he was in before the World Championship and could only have played himself out, and almost did. Not because he played particularly poorly, but because of the result in the World Championship, not getting as far as expected. When on paper he had a decent draw for a big run there. So I'm just wondering if he might make the mistake of putting a little bit too much pressure on himself. Fantastic player. Expect him to win majors in the future. Maybe does that this year, but I don't think it'll be at the Premier League. Don't think he'll make the playoffs. I just think that maybe I feel like he might have a bit of a slow start. Watch him win week 1 now.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think he might have a bit of a slow start. Might take him a bit of time to get to grips with it. 7th, I've got him in.
7.
Ooh.
Okay. You say ooh.
Yes.
You don't need to necessarily put placing on it, but he doesn't make your top 4.
He actually does.
Look, this is what we're here for on this podcast. You know.
I expect big things of him this year.
Wow.
I don't think much phases him.
Sticking your neck on the line.
Yeah, well, that's what we do, don't we?
I know. Sometimes. Yeah. So what? No, just. What's led you to that?
Just think he's going to be. Well, I don't know.
He is a showman,
let me down, isn't he? No, look. There's also an argument that, as Murph said, it could be a bit much. It can have a slow start. Will it daunt him? 3,000 to 20,000? I don't know. I just think he will enjoy it and embrace him from what I see and know of him. Won a World Cup with Daryl Gurney. That'll do him some good. Just think he's ready for it. I'm backing him. That's what I'm doing.
All right.
In darts now, when people say, "Oh, check this ACCA for me," I'm like,
no idea what's going to happen.
Especially with these 8 players.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's so difficult now. It is so difficult. The only thing is, as he says, like if you want to beat Luke Littler early in a tournament, you got to do it early.
Yeah. And that's definitely in the Premier League as well, which is what we're talking about. But Gerwyn Price, then, how do we see this season looking for him? Because towards the end of the year, he was making a lot of big semi-finals, but then, he did not have the World Championship he would have wanted, losing to Wesley Plaisier. How do we see his Premier League campaign going? A former runner-up, made it to the playoffs last year.
Yeah, he seems to be the type of player who puts focus into certain things at certain times, and I felt he did that with the Premier League last year. He had a couple of years before where he was like, I don't really want to be in it. I'm not bothered if they leave me out. But then last year he kind of really went for it, and that showed. But I do think last year was a year of missed opportunities for Price. I think
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, he should have won something. He really should have won something decent last year. I think 3 or 4 of the big events I was watching and he's going to win this, and then he'd either get involved in an absolute classic and be out, or just not happen for him at the key stage like a semi-final. So again, I'm just not sure. I think I can't confidently say that he'll make the playoffs because I'm not sure where his head will be at with it this year. So for that reason, I'm not going to put him there.
Bridgie,
I've got him around 5th and 6th.
I've got 6. Yeah, 6.
Yeah. Really, I think a positive-ish year. Just shell-shocked at the defeat to Wesley Plaisier. He took it really well as well. I don't know where we'll go. I don't really know what we'll see with Gezi this year. We'll have to wait and see. I'll have to wait and see. So wait and see on a number of players this year for me.
How telling do you think the first week will be then? Because we've got, I mean, he's in that bottom half of the draw for the first week, so opposite to Tia Littler, and plays Luke Humphries in the quarterfinals. Do we feel like we're going to gauge a lot from that
I think,
week?
Going back to what I said about his focus, I think if it could be crucial for him if he has a bad first 3 weeks, then suddenly switches off and goes, "Oh, this year it's not for me." I'm not saying that anyone ever goes on stage not trying to win the match in front of them, but that subconscious interest in what you're doing now. So I think, it could be really crucial for him to have a good start, and what kind of start he has will define what kind of season he has.
Yeah. What about Jonny Clayton then? I saw him on Monday at a Winmore event, and he is buzzing to get back to the Premier League. A former winner, obviously, but it feels like he's been waiting a little while to get himself back in this field, Bridgie.
Oh, yeah, and it's nice to have him back, to be honest with you. And he's done ever so well, because I worried for him a couple of times and where he was going, but then he came back. He's coming back with a bang, and he kept openly saying, as you mentioned, I want to be in the Premier League, world number 5. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him back. He's 2 years away, and I think the Premier League have missed him a little bit. I think no matter where you go, they like to see Jonny Clayton. Whether he attacks the top 4, we'll have to wait and see. I think more than capable of winning a couple of nights, but it might be again the 5th and 6th area. I'm thinking, have you got him top 4?
I'm going to disagree with you.
Yeah.
I think Jonny Clayton is an absolute certainty.
Whoa,
in the top
this
4.
Matt coming in hot.
Yeah,
Certainty.
I think again it's a 16-week season before the finals, and I think that he is one of the most consistent players in world darts. I think that the dip in form he had around a year ago, 18 months ago, coincided with stuff going on behind the scenes. He lost his father, didn't he, after that match play run? I think he's come back arguably better than ever. He maybe could have gone a little bit further at the Worlds, just didn't really turn up against Ryan Searle, who played really well. But I think that over the course of 16 weeks, I expect him to be consistent enough to get into the playoffs.
Third, you're saying?
Without a problem, yeah, third.
Yeah. Damn, okay. I think, look, we all want to see Jonny do well because he's a lovely guy. And, it felt like at times last year he was getting back to that sort of 2021 form in parts. So, look, I think very good to see him back on the Premier League stage. Just one player remains then, Stephen Bunting, who for some was a controversial pick. When I say some, I'm looking at you, Chris Murphy.
Yeah.
But I think, look, I'll be honest, I think it's more about the players that missed out. Nathan Aspinall, the one to mention, Danny Noppert for some as well. But he's in the field. How do we see him getting on? Because he wanted to go better. No, I know. Obviously finished bottom last year, didn't he? And he'll be obviously wanting to push on this year. It felt like at times last year the performances maybe didn't kind of match the results and the points that he ended up with. But it feels like he has not started the year how he would have wanted on the World Series. We don't know what's going to happen at Masters, but it feels like he's in a good place.
Yeah. Purely by process of elimination, I've got him 8th. That's the only number that's left. Just on the plus side for Stephen, if you are watching, listening, I did pick Nathan Aspinall in that spot last year, and he did rather well. So that might be
that's an omen.
Yeah,
yes, you might make the playoffs.
That vote of no confidence, which actually works. But I just look. I stick by my thoughts that maybe I would have probably given Aspinall the edge of getting in the Premier League. But we've spoken to Stephen for a special episode, haven't we? And he made a very good case for why he's going to be in the Premier League. And it's difficult to argue. It's really hard to say why somebody shouldn't be in it if you just talk about that player themselves. But it's about how many players should be in it. Yes. And I think that this year there was probably cases for 2 or 3 other players, and I just happen to prefer one of them to Stephen Bunting. And that's not the reason I'm putting him 8th. I've gone through it looking at, again, I don't know what to expect because of the World Championship. I hope that he has a better start than last year, but I think that might define his season as well. If he doesn't get off to a good start, then it is difficult to come back from, because that pressure's going to mount, because everyone's going to be then saying he shouldn't have been in it. Now, I'm not going to say that now. He's in it. He deserves to be in it.
Yeah, that's kind of done, isn't it? It's more about how he does.
But if and it might apply to a couple of the other players as well. Look, if Luke Littler or Luke Humphries are bottom of the table after the first 3 weeks, no one's saying they shouldn't be in the Premier League. But if Stephen Bunting or Josh Rock are in that position, then that brings another pressure. So I've got those as my bottom two purely because I think if they find themselves in that position, they're going to find it harder to turn it around than the other players in the field.
And you've made a good point when we've been chatting before that for certain players, and it especially feels like this for Stephen Bunting, that the start is really important.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to go 3 weeks with losing in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, absolutely. But he can then draw on that experience from last year and go, well, actually, he did turn it around to win a week. If that might mean that he can do that a little bit earlier this time around. But yeah.
Would you agree?
Stephen.
No, I know. It's we're asking you for your opinions here. None of them are going to take it personally.
I was. This is a promo for us. I was really taken aback by Stephen Bunting's interview of us. What? What's that? What?
Sorry, I'm actually laughing just at how you said his name.
All right. And he's really strong, and I was really enjoying listening to him.
You changed your mind? Did you have him 8th and you've changed?
I had him. Yes, I did.
No, is that?
But yeah, at the moment. But again, it's you can put anyone anywhere apart from I think the two Lukes. I know it's boring, but
so at the moment, what we've gone for is you've both got the two Lukes and Van Veen in your top four. Bridgie, you've got Josh Rock taking the other spot, and Murphy, you've got Jonny Clayton in that other spot. So. Yeah, interesting. Chris sort of teed it up a minute ago, but just to let you know, we do have a special episode with Stephen Bunting, which is coming out at some point over the course of the next few days. So we had a nice little chat with him, and the guys have alluded to it. He talked really openly about how he's been feeling over the last sort of couple of months, which have, it's been pretty hard at times, hasn't it? But also about how he's feeling really confident about 2026 and is in a really good place. So that's great. We've talked about all the players. One thing I'm really looking forward to is Antwerp, a new addition to, a new venue addition. Been talking to people in the build-up to the Premier League, saying apparently there's going to be 23,000 fans there. I mean, that is a big old venue and a big old crowd, isn't it?
Yeah, huge. And I think it just shows as well without a Belgian player. So that's not any more... it shows that's not much of a worry for the PDC anymore because there was a time when events will be put in certain places based on the fact that they had someone to cheer for, that there was someone there that could... that's why they have host nation qualifiers in European Tour events. It's why they used to put 2 Irish players into the World Grand Prix, for example. But everyone just loves darts for darts now. And I do hope that it does inspire the Belgian players because they really have disappeared, haven't they, from the
it wasn't a great Worlds, was it, really? For the
Dimitri, Mike Dedeker, Kim Huybrechts hasn't done much for a while either, so I do hope that it maybe just gives them a bit of inspiration. Hopefully they can be there and just go, I want to be on the stage next time. But that should be a lot of fun, quite early in the calendar as well. So
week 2. Bridgie, what are you most looking forward to on the Premier League campaign? Because you'll be at a few of the venues, won't you?
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Well, Antwerp, definitely, for all the reasons you've said. I do love finals night at the O2. Do love it there. I always look around thinking,
wow,
darts has come a long way. When you see all the other things advertised that week and the next coming months ahead. I just think what I love about the Premier League is if you're actually going to that event that night, it's very, very special. And I think, everyone's got their opinion on the format, and I genuinely get it. I do understand it. But as Matt Porter said, 1, the tickets sold out straight away. And 2, if you're actually going there, you are going for a night of quarter-final, semi, a final, and you get a winner at the end of the night. I totally understand it from that point of view when you're actually in that arena. And I remember the Manchester one a couple of years ago. I absolutely loved it. And people say, it's a bit samey, but, darts is in a really good place right now. You're seeing some top quality stuff, and I think we'll be getting a lot of stories out of this over the next few months as well.
Yeah, certainly hope so. We do just want to do a brief preview ahead of the Masters. Obviously, we're recording this about 1:30 on Thursday afternoon, so we know it starts tonight, and you might be listening to this later on in the weekend. Maybe it's starting next week. I don't know. So what we say might not even matter, but we're going to do it anyway. So what are you most looking forward to? I mean, we mentioned it before. Luke Humphries is the defending Winmore World Masters champion, beat Jonny Clayton in a really good final last year. so much talk about Luke Littler. He is, of course, going to go in as favourite. This is one of the big ones that he hasn't won yet. We've talked about the likes of Michael van Gerwen having a good sort of start to the year. There are going to be other names. Gian van Veen, this is his main draw debut at the World Masters. So what you kind of, any sort of specific players you're looking out for, or what you're most looking forward to? It's a nice format now, isn't it?
Yeah, probably a couple of the new players that have qualified through the. It starts before the TV stage, doesn't it? The World Masters. So a couple of players that are just riding a wave. Really, the last two Lakeside champions, Shane McGurk and Jimmy Van Ski, both made it through. And I think that's a really good start to their PDC careers. Two players that, I mean, we'll probably talk about Q School, but two players that I would be surprised weren't still tour card holders in 2 years' time. I think they're certainly going to be an upward trajectory. The main thing I'm looking forward to, though, is the format. I think it's such a good format.
The sets being so quick as well, right?
And I think, going back to what we were saying before, if there's any tournament where you can beat the big boys in the early round, this is it, isn't it? If it's such a short, sharp format that it could be chaos in that first round, and then you see that the draw will not look anything like we expect it to look as the tournament goes on. So, having said that, Littler getting Mike De Decker in the first round, it seems like a great draw, doesn't it? After the World Championship he said that it completely made him sick of darts, didn't watch any of it, so I don't know when he's picked them back up. So I think this might be a theme every time, not just me, but any guest that comes on this podcast. If we're looking at a specific tournament, it's very hard to say that anybody other than Littler's going to win it, and that's what I expect to happen.
And it's a nightmare for, I talked about the likes of Joe Cullen not qualifying, Peter Wright, Michael Smith not there.
Barney not trying.
He's doing an ex-gala or something instead. But Dave Chisnell, what a tough year he's got ahead. And then he's got Luke Humphries.
Draw, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, obviously, Luke Littler has mentioned this particular tournament and the European as his goals for this season. So it would be silly of me not to think that Luke Littler will be the strong favourite. I don't think he's odds-on favourite to win this tournament. I was a bit surprised. Well, I don't know.
Maybe the format.
We're getting to that stage. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I like the expansion of it. It used to be the one where if you won it, you'd probably get a Premier League spot. They had back in the day, but not anymore. Really interested to see how James Wade gets on, because a few people say he's unlucky at times, and he's.
Well, he posted about not being in the Premier League as well, didn't he?
Yeah, and he also said that it upsets him that there's so much emphasis on the World Championship, which fair, but I mean. He's so good at the match play. I'll just be interested to see how he gets on. Yeah, after a very disappointing Worlds.
Sneaky feeling. You know what I think could do well? Stephen Bunting. Yeah, I genuinely think he could.
To him, yeah.
Just looking at the draw, and what a statement that would be. Bridgie said he used to get in the Premier League by winning the Masters in its old format. What a statement it would be if he were to go and have a good run at this tournament.
That's what he needs, isn't it?
100%.
Shut up all the fools that said that maybe he wasn't one of the 8 that should have been in.
Well, were you one of those? Yeah. Could face Danny Noppert or Darrell Gurney in the next round.
I'll tell you what on Murph's point there is how Nathan Aspinall will react, because many say he's a Premier League kind of player. Many say, it's a big reason of his walk on, but I thought he had a pretty decent year. Yeah, the Worlds ended up being quite a disappointment. How's he going to react?
Yeah, well, he's playing one of the players that Murph mentioned a minute ago in Shane McGurk first. So look, we don't want to kind of talk about this in too much detail, because you're probably going to be listening to it after some of them have gone out. But look, we're very much looking forward to seeing how the first major of the year unfolds. A couple of more things to discuss before we go. At the start of the month, it feels like, honestly, after the World Championship, there's been a lot of darts, actually, hasn't there? But Q School concluded with, for a lot of players, they're getting their PDC tour cards secured. I'm not going to go through all the names. I mean, some of them are familiar names already to us. I mean, you mentioned Shane McGurk a minute ago. There are others on there, the likes of Rhys Griffin, Charlie Manby, who, of course, I mean, you'll know a lot about from the Super Series, had a good World Championship. Mervyn King, back on the tour. Any names there standing out to you, or any others?
Some great stories. Adam Leake from Australia actually qualified for the ADC Global Championship, which was held at the Modus Live Lounge. 24 hours a day, live and free on Pluto TV. Did I mention that?
You have now.
He only came over because to play in that event, then thought, I'll tag on Q School, gets a tour card, and then basically goes, right, where am I going to live? What am I going to do? He's not sorted any of that out yet.
So what's he doing?
Yeah, well, he didn't go to the qualifiers for the Masters because he hasn't sorted out even a
roof
visa
over
or
his
anything.
head.
Yeah, he's coming over from Australia. So that's a really interesting story, one to watch.
Wow.
In terms of players that I think will do well, and this is not just me giving shameless plugs, but because I've seen them at the Motor Super Series, I think Charlie Manby is the last series winner.
Yep.
It's kind of widely sort of thought of now as maybe the championship of darts in terms of what you can expect players to do. And Tom Sykes was a runner-up. He's made 3 Super Series Champions Week finals, so he's another player to watch. Shane McGurk and Jimmy Vansky both have been very successful in there as well. Mentioned both of them getting into the Masters. Another player that he only played once at the Super Series, but when he did, he turned up, won every game for 2 days, didn't win on finals night, and just from absolutely nowhere, a guy called Tyler Thorpe, massive ceiling in terms of his averages, played really well at Q School as well. So I would, if you're looking for a dark horse to just keep an eye on, Tyler Thorpe is the one for me.
Okay. A lot of names obviously who secured their tour cards at European Q School as well, and some really familiar ones. Arno Merck obviously will know because of how well he was performing at the end of last year. Cristo Reyes, he's got his tour card back, and wasn't he brilliant at the World Championship? Jeffrey Desvan, another one of those familiar names. Chris Landman as well. Adam Gavlas, Gerwyn van der Velde. So the list goes on really, but going to be really interesting to see how some of the names that Chris has mentioned there and that we've mentioned do over the course of not just this year but next year as well. The women's series starts again this weekend. So what are we expecting this year? Because Bo is obviously, she's going to be playing a lot of darts, isn't she? Playing, the fact that she's now got her tour card and maybe won't be playing as many women's series events. You've obviously talked about, at Modus very recently, the fact that Fallon and Lisa were playing in that final of Women's Week. It feels like Fallon sort of getting herself back to, the form that we know her for, really.
The conversation around that, the narrative was, are we going back to those days? If Bo steps away from the women's series, which I'm not sure if she's going to do or not, we don't know that yet. If she's in it, she's dominant. Yeah. She is the best player by far. But if she does step away a little bit, are we going to go back to those days where it is Fallon and Lisa meeting in a lot of the finals? Because both of them have had health and injury issues in the last couple of years, but both seem to have put them behind them in the last few months and are starting to peak again. So that's going to be really, really interesting. Gemma Hayter is someone who didn't pick up a title last year, but did the year before and always seems to be there or thereabouts in terms of competing with them. But there are loads of women now that can win those tournaments, and I think it's going to be a really interesting race for the match play. I kind of want to know how much Bo's going to play, because that changes the landscape completely.
Yeah.
If she does step away from it.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a bit of an idea of that on the weekend. Any other things you want to just get off your chest, talk about before we say goodbye to our listeners?
Anything I want to get off my chest?
Yeah, I don't know. Just
how long have we got?
Yeah.
Well, it's just great that it's back, isn't it? Really, it's just great.
It's back.
There's never really a break in darts.
I know. Did it go anywhere? I don't know. For Murph, it didn't. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No, but even PDC darts, we've had Q School, as you mentioned, and the 2 World Series events already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
looking forward to it. Looking forward to a big year.
Yep. Okay. Feeling energised by the sound of things.
Are you ready?
I can't wait.
You're busy.
Off to Newcastle we go.
You are.
And
busy.
I'll be watching everything unfold in Milton Keynes. Don't worry about that. Yeah, absolutely loads of darts to look forward to. But yeah, that's us for today. My thanks to Bridgie and to Chris for joining me today. Thanks to you for listening as well. The Premier League, if you need reminding, starts on Thursday, the 5th of February. Every single dart, we hope, live on Sky Sports Darts, and we'll be back very soon to talk about darts again. But until then, enjoy the action.